At some point, every person realizes this. A career crossroads is rarely just one moment. It may begin with one question, one season of discomfort, one decision that changes the direction of your career life. But if you live long enough, grow deeply enough, and tell yourself the truth often enough, you begin to realize that career crossroads are not just events, they're a part of life. Because life keeps changing. You keep changing. What matters becomes clear. What no longer fits becomes harder to ignore. New seasons ask new things of you. And that means the deeper goal is not simply to get through one career crossroads well. The deeper goal is to become the kind of person who knows how to keep returning to yourself whenever your life or career asks new questions. Because real life does not usually give us one final answer that settles everything forever. Life keeps moving. And because it keeps moving, you need more than one courageous decision. You need a mindset of return. And that's what I want to talk about today. The mindset that helps you keep coming back to yourself again and again. Welcome back to another episode of the Leadership Purpose with Dr. Robin podcast. I'm so glad you're here and you take time to listen into the podcast. And because you've been such faithful listeners of the podcast, we're ranked in the top 5% of all podcasts globally, according to Listen Notes. So thank you. And if you haven't done so already, go ahead and follow the podcast, review, subscribe. It'll help us keep going. Okay. So now, over the past several episodes, we had a series and we've been walking through the deeper landscape of a career crossroads. We've talked about why the questioning begins, why career crossroads are not random, why achievement does not always bring clarity. We talked about why strategy alone often fails, why the inner signs matter, and we talked about why the season of a crossroad is often about reconnection and how to hold your story clues and why values matter. And then we finished up with how to make a purpose aligned decision and how to stay grounded after you make it. So we covered quite a bit. And today I want to talk about the mindset underneath all that. Because the deepest work is not only making one clear, strong decision, it is becoming someone who knows how to keep returning to what's true. Many people approach a career crossroads hoping for one clear decision that will finally settle everything. And I understand that. When you're in uncertainty, you want relief, you want resolution, you want to know what to do. But even deeply right decisions don't end the need for discernment because life continues. New roles come, new seasons come, new versions of yourself emerge. And what was true in one season may need to be reinterpreted in the next. Not because your truth was false, but because life is alive. That's why the deeper goal is not rigid certainty. It's a living relationship with yourself. And I think one of the deepest things to understand is this. The real opposite of clarity is not confusion, it's disconnection. Confusion is not always the problem. Sometimes confusion is part of growth. Sometimes it's part of being in process. Sometimes it's what happens when the old answer no longer fits and the new one is still emerging. But disconnection is different. Disconnection is when you stop listening to yourself, when you stop respecting the signs, when you stop honoring what matters, when you stop noticing the cost of self-betrayal. The goal is not to never feel uncertain again. The goal is to stay connected enough to yourself that uncertainty doesn't pull you away from your own inner truth. And that's much more durable than any other kind of clarity. So, what is this mindset? It's a mindset of return, a mindset that says, when pressure builds, I return. When success tempts me to override myself, I return. When uncertainty makes me want to prove or perform or explain, I return. Return to what? Return to who you are. Return to what matters. Return to what's already become true enough to deserve authority in your life and career. And that's not passive, it's deeply active, but its activity is rooted in inner truth, not panic. It's rooted in self connection, not self abandonment. And this mindset is not about perfection. It's not waking up every day fully clear, fully grounded, fully fearless, and fully beyond doubt. That's not real life. You'll get pulled away. Old patterns will pull you. Other people's expectations will pull you. Urgency will pull you. Fear will pull you. Prestige will pull you. Pressure will pull you. The question is not whether that happens. The question is what you do next. Do you stay absent from yourself or do you return? Wobble is not failure. Forgetting is not failure. Being tempted by old metrics is not failure. The deeper question is whether you know how to come back. That's maturity. That's groundedness. That's wisdom. So, how do you build this mindset over time? I'll tell you 4 ways. Here's the first one. First, pay attention to patterns instead of dismissing them. So, notice when fear gets louder. Notice where values get strained. Notice where old metrics try to reclaim authority. Second, create regular moments of return. Don't wait until it's a time of a crisis. Take time to think, time to reflect, time to be honest with who you are before life gets so loud that you can no longer hear yourself. All right, now here's the third way. Tell yourself the truth sooner, not after total burnout. Don't wait till then. Not after the resentment becomes unbearable. Don't wait until then. Not after the career crossroads becomes an emergency. Sooner. Tell yourself the truth sooner. You know when it's coming along. All right, and here's the fourth way. Practice small decisions that reinforce self trust. Decisions that say, why values matter. Let me say that again. Decisions that say, my values matter. My truth matters. And I don't need to betray myself to be seen as responsible. And that repetition matters because this mindset is not built only in big moments, it's built in smaller acts of return over time, over and over again. So now, before we close the episode, I want to leave you with a few questions to help you think through this. What helps you come back to yourself when life gets noisy? What old patterns most often pull you away from your inner truth? And what kind of inner language do you want to practice from here? Sometimes the deepest transformation is not one moment of clarity. It's the decision to keep coming back to yourself again and again. All right, so as we close this series, I want to name what we've really been exploring. We've been exploring a career crossroads is not just about choosing a new role, making a pivot, or figuring out the next professional move. It's about learning how to hear yourself again. It's about recognizing the signs you may have been overriding. It's about understanding that success does not always equal clarity. It's about seeing that strategy cannot replace identity. It's about remembering who you are and what matters most to you. And perhaps most of all, it's about learning how and practicing to keep returning to yourself. Not perfectly, not once and for all, but honestly, again and again. So if you're at a career crossroads, or if you sense that one may come again someday, I want to leave you with this. You don't need to have every answer forever. And you don't need to become perfect at clarity. You don't need to never wobble again. What matters is that you keep learning how to return to yourself, return to who you are, return to what matters, return to what's true for you. And that's no small thing. That's a way of living. All right. Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership Purpose with Dr. Robin. If these conversations resonated with you, I hope you'll share this series with someone who may be standing at their own career crossroads. And continue to follow me on LinkedIn at Robin L. Owens, PhD. And until next time, this is Dr. Robin.